7,000 feet above sea level. This is what locals describe as the home of champions, Iten, Kenya. Athletes resident here, and Kenyans generally, have long been described as the fastest people on earth. But even by their standards, 2019 may have been the country's greatest ever year for athletics. In October, the nation's favourite son, Eliud Kipchoge, succeeded in his challenge to run the world's first sub-2 hour marathon. The following day in Chicago, Bridget Koskei bettered the women's marathon world record by an incredible 81 seconds. However, here the sport is littered with problems. An endless drip feed of stories about corruption and doping have plagued Kenyan athletics in recent years. For many though, a greater issue is simply a lack of facilities and supports.
Unfortunately in Kenya, we're still very far behind when it comes to facilities, particularly a fairly basic facility like a track. I think what agitates or surprises people a little bit, particularly athletes and managers and coaches, is the fact that here we are in the home of champions, the source of champions, the city of champions, and we don't have, I use the word functional tracks. They do not have to be a state-of-the-art stadium. Mm-hmm. We're just talking about a basic, well-kept training surface. And that surprises people that Kenya can produce so many champions out of such, fairly basic facilities.
While state-of-the-art facilities have been promised, building progress on the ground has stalled for years. A four-time Olympian, Vivian Chariot, says that many facilities were better before renovations were even planned.
We were doing our trials for Olympics, we did it here, and it was nice even. It was better even before now. So for me, I want to say to my government that we have to finish this stadium. This is a very important stadium for us.
Despite obstacles of corruption, doping and facilities, many current and former athletes warn of exploitation as the biggest challenge facing young female athletes. The view of athletics as the great ladder out of poverty has led to emerging female stars being preyed on by older men known as hyenas.
When women run here in Kenya, when they are single, most of them have a lot of problems. Because you see some athletes progress very gradual. Those young runners, they start running, then, you see some coaches taking advantage of them, making them to be their wives. Most of the athletes I know are being married by their coaches. And immediately they finish run, the running is finished, they are dumped.
The problem became so stark that former champion athletes like Janet Jepkoski began visiting schools to speak to young girls.
And I think it was a challenge actually in Kenya, where the government had to come in because it was a bit embarrassing. You find a coach, already a big man, marrying a primary kid, it's not really logic. It doesn't work. Yeah. And because the other one is still young mind, so they manipulate it. The coach is more, and you can manipulate someone who is too young. It's more challenging when it comes to where money is.
And why do you call them hyenas?
Because, they want to reap where they have not sown. Something which is put on the table, they want to take an advantage of it. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And if you see some hyenas changing their lifestyle at one go, driving a wonderful car, living in a very splash, and where they have not reaped, you just wonder.
While victims fear to talk about their experience, there are hopes that things are beginning to change. In our second report from Kenya, we look at the role education is playing in that fight. Jake O'Donnell for OTB Sports in Iten.